But you know, it's part of the process. This is what I signed myself up for, you know? Kind of having no filter in the way I write. It's like, what do you expect, B? Hey, this is Beabadoobee, and this is how I wrote my new album, Fake It Flowers. I wrote Care when I was in my bedroom, like all my other songs, really. And I remember just being really angry, and I think it was after like a therapy session. It was just a way of expressing myself, and I think that's what my music means to me in general. It's kind of like a therapy session for me, the way I write. It's like getting things off my chest and writing things down, pretty much vomiting everything from my brain on paper and making it into a song. Made me feel much better. I mean, it's kind of a repetitive, simple song, so it's very quick to make, really. One of the first songs I'd ever written for Fake It Flowers. Worth It, also in my bedroom. Actually, half written that on tour, on the UK tour. A lot of things happened, and which inspired that song. And again, just like Care, it was, you know, just vomiting things out from my brain and wanting to write everything down so I can just get it off my chest and, I guess, end that chapter of my life, you know. Listening to Worth It back, I guess it's, you know, rewarding knowing all, you know, my band and I's hard work, kind of making this song into everything I wanted it to sound like. I wrote Diet Red half on tour in the US when I was supporting Claro, and then I finished writing it in my room again. It was inspired by a story my friend was telling me about, and it made me really angry. I fortunately have not experienced, you know, what I talk about in Diet Red, but I know a lot of girls have, and I thought it was important to talk about that in the song, knowing it could probably relate to many girls, you know. It's really empowering to sing, and I hope to think that it makes her feel better when listening to it as well.
Ask me again, are we friends or are we something more? Doesn't matter to think about how we were just.
Back to Mars was written originally for Space Cadet, and I didn't finish writing it because I didn't know where to take it. It was originally going to be a really fast-paced song, but the producer who produced Fake Flowers, Pete, suggested that it should be really soft. And we made it soft, and we made it just me and my acoustic guitar, and he put all these lovely atmospheric sounds around it. I mean, Back to Mars makes me feel, I guess, really nostalgic. It talks about how I want to go to this house in France that my boyfriend family owns. It's basically me asking, can I go to that house in France? Yeah, no, it's sweet. I kind of wanted to have that interlude moment in my album, and I think, yeah, Back to Mars was the most perfect choice for that. I think when writing the album, I wanted to take people in a journey, which is why I think the order in which the songs are really important. I remember spending kind of weeks figuring out what song would come after which, and yeah, I wanted a moment in the middle where it kind of like travels into a new sound. And I guess in the middle of the album it gets a bit more depressing, it gets a bit more, even more personal than it already started. And yeah, I think Back to Mars was like kind of the perfect introduction to that part of the album. Charlie Brown, that's a really fun one to sing because I get to scream, but That was one of the most memorable experiences of the album, was screaming the chorus. And it's also a really personal song. And it was also really nice to scream everything off my chest, you know? Something that I guess is really personal to me, and being able to kind of scream it, you know? Yeah, and it's Charlie Brown, man. I love the comic strips. I have a comic strip on my arm, tattooed. Screaming for Charlie Brown, I feel like I prepared myself for that scream. And I have loads of mental breakdowns in my room. I feel like my body was ready to scream. And I remember Pete and Joe being like, "You sure?" I'm like, I'm ready to scream. I've always wanted to do some screamo, if I'm being honest. And yeah, I guess I just went straight to it. There's footage of me screaming. I want to show people because it's so funny. Yeah.
Back on old ways, I know your face. I haven't seen you in some days. It hurts my
Writing Emo Song was draining, but also very therapeutic. Kara really talks about the surface level of a certain situation in my life, and an Emo Song kind of is an in-depth explanation. And I think that's one of the songs that I can't really play live just yet. When a song is that personal, it is really hard kind of singing it to people you love, especially if they know what it's about. But you know, it's part of the process. This is what I signed myself up for, you know? Kind of having no filter in the way I write. It's like, what do you expect, B?
said I had to see you, but I don't, and I won't, and I won't. To think I was just.
I wrote Sorry in my bedroom, again. And I finished writing it in the studio, I think. And I remember being really gassed with the minor chords and being like, oh my God, this is sick. And I recorded a demo straight away. Yeah, it talks about someone I knew, and just don't do drugs, kids. Well, I mean, do it if you want to, but just be sensible. And it was nice kind of apologizing in that way, knowing at least I did through a song at least, you know. The story behind Sorry is, it just talks about, you know, a certain situation in my life, but, you know, generally speaking, it's about not being there for someone because sometimes it's too hard to watch. It's too hard to be there. It's just too sad. It's just basically me apologizing, knowing what that person could have been. Further Away was just kind of me talking about the people who are always mean to me in school, people mean to me in general, kind of me accepting the fact that they're never going to understand me, and I feel like I had to grow into knowing that no one's ever going to know who I am, and I'm completely fine with that, you know? Like, no one's ever going to know who you actually are unless they actually know you. No, I don't speak to those people in school, but yeah, I don't know what they're doing right now. I speak to my friendship group from school who I'm going to be friends with for the rest of my life. They're like the most amazing girls ever. Soren Saracen's like a 6-minute love song about me talking about how whipped I am on some boy. I actually found out, his name's Soren Harrison, and I found out from his granddad that it's spoonerism when you replace the last, well, like, yeah, the letters of the name. And I was like, oh, that's cool, spoonerism. I guess it was like, I kind of wanted it to be, to sound like the Cranberries a bit, and to just always grow and grow into something more massive. And I just wanted like a Disney princess song in the album, loads of strings. I remember describing to my producer what the strings would do. I was like playing him the song, and then it goes, wow, and then it goes back down. It was crazy. But yeah, no, I like that song. It's fun. It's a really hard song to play live. Like, I remember my band and I trying to practice it, and there's like this push that happens like every other chorus or something stupid like that. And like, yeah, no, it's really complicated and it's really long, and it was a bitch to play live, but whatever, I love it, and I like to think the band do too.
How was your day? Was it okay? 'Cause we haven't talked in.
How was your day? I'd written a bit on tour. It's basically about missing home and missing everyone from home. And it was actually the only song I recorded during lockdown. Every song from Fake It Flowers was recorded prior. I was living with my boyfriend and his brother and his family, and we recorded it on a 4-track like cassette recorder in his garden. I thought it was, I thought it made sense to record it that way, considering the song just is so vulnerable and so raw. I've recorded on a 4-track before. One time I've made, with the help of my friend Oscar Lang, a little cassette tape with me singing all my boyfriend's favorite songs on it. It's really cringe, but yeah. So it was nice kind of working on a 4-track again. I just love the way it sounds, and I love Daniel Johnson, and I actually had his tapes because Matty had them when I was in Oxford, and he had all the Daniel Johnson tapes. I was just listening to it in my room, and I was like, this is crazy, but there's something about tapes that just seems so comforting.
Crash the car again, the same mistakes again. Don't wanna hurt you like I did.
I wrote together, also a bit on tour, and then I finished it at home. It kind of talks about the idea of like toxic relationships and wanting to be with someone constantly. And I struggled a lot kind of being away from home that much because I was never used to being away that long. Like going to tour and coming back it's like there's a weird period in between when it's like you've just been working like every day really hard, and then now like all of a sudden you just have nothing to do during your days. You don't see your band. Like I usually like wake up and see people, but then you wake up in your bedroom and you're all alone, and it is really sad sometimes, and you get like post-tour depression, that's what I call it. But you get over it like how you do with everything else, and it's, I've been trying to kind of learn how to be comfortable, to be by myself. I'm a very dependent person, so yeah, we'll get there. I'll get there soon enough, hopefully.
He smells very nice. Oh, so nice. Nice clothes that
I wrote Yoshimi for his magazine in the space for like 10 minutes. I mean, you can tell it's like so dumb, but I wanted a song like that for Fake It Flowers. I wanted to end the album with something really loud and stupid and just, noise, just like distortion. And everyone always asks who've heard the song, what it's about, and it's about the names I want to call my children. Yoshimi because of the Flaming Lips album, Forrest because Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump, and Magdalena, a song by the Pixies that I love as well. And yeah, I want to call my kids those names if I have to in the future. Not now.
loves me.